Hello everybody, welcome to an audio version, an audio edition of my new series called the Sonic Comic News, where I focus on the Archie comics of Sonic the Hedgehog and basically the main comic and some of its spin-offs. In this case, the main spin-off from the comic as we speak is Sonic Universe. Oh, excuse me there, adjusting the mic. Now, in case some of you don't know what Sonic Universe is, I am going to talk about that here. Sonic Universe was released back, I believe, in 2009. I am pretty sure of it. 2009, 2 years ago, basically. And it replaced the comic that was basically a comic book adaptation of the Sonic X anime series, which aired on 4Kids, currently airs on 4Kids and repeats. But the Sonic X comic book that got replaced by the current one, Sonic Universe. Sonic X basically took place during the second season, and it was adventures that we didn't see on television. So anyway, Sonic Universe came out of that because basically Sonic X was basically part of the first saga that Sonic Universe did, which was the Shadow Saga, and basically it was part of a situation where Shadow ended up from the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book all the way through the first issue of Sonic Universe, battling Metallic Sonic or Metal Sonic, or a newer version of him anyway. Now Sonic Universe is celebrating its 25th issue. Its 25th issue, anniversary issue that is, has just been released. And Sonic Universe has done a lot of sagas. It's done Shadow, it's done Knuckles, it's done a tie-in to the Iron Dominion story. It's done a Tails, Bunny, and Antoine saga. Recently it did basically a Treasure Team Tango saga, which was more of an Amy Rose story. So now it's focusing on Silver the Hedgehog. Now this is a character, believe it or not, folks, that everybody had been waiting to see get a story adaptation in the comics. Didn't matter if it was the main comic or a spin-off, they've been waiting for it, and they're going to finally get it. But the thing about this one is, ladies and gentlemen, and I mentioned this in my video version of Sonic Comic News, the Silver Saga starts this month, and this month, March, April, and May will be the saga. This month, March, April, and May. Now, when the May issue, which will be part 4, the final issue of the saga, comes to an end, it'll tie in, from what I and many fans have read, will tie in with the 225th issue of the main comic, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, the cover for the main comic was recently revealed at a comic convention in New York, I believe, a couple months ago, and we only saw part of it, so we didn't know exactly what the full cover looked like. Many people thought it, featured a gravestone in the background. That is not the case. Instead, what we see is what we find out basically about a few weeks ago, or a month ago or so. We find out that the cover to 225 is actually the first ever, and probably only for right now, only for this time only, gatefold cover for the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, or probably any Archie comic book in that manner. Now, if you don't know what a gatefold cover is, it's basically a splash page used as a cover. Think of it this way. Think of a rectangular movie poster. Think of a poster, a rectangular movie promotion poster, and then shrink that down to comic book size and wrap it around a book or something like that. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what this gatefold cover is. It's basically like a miniature poster. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that have already printed this out and have hung it in their rooms, either framed it or have done what another guy did with another comic series which debuted 2 months ago, and that's being able to make it into a poster size thing to hang in his room. But anyway, 225, the cover, yes, was finally revealed by IGN.com. And then recently, this past week, we finally got the worded preview. Now, the worded preview is basically telling you exactly what's going to take place in the comic. It's not like what we get normally, a few weeks before the issue comes out, which is like a 4 to 5 page preview. Instead, it's just a worded comic telling you what's going to be involved, and basically, it also tells you the title of the issue. We also find out that, so basically this is what it is. 225, in which the final issue of the Silver Saga from Sonic Universe will tie into, from what I understand. The title for 225 is One Step Forward. We find out that it's a prelude to the Genesis storyline. The cover, as you could see, features the Freedom Fighters with the what looks like the Death Egg in the background. Now, according to the summary, not the summary, but the preview, Sonic and the Freedom Fighters have to basically team up with Axis Naugus, because Dr. Eggman's newest creation, which obviously we see here in the background, threatens all of Mobius. They also conclude this little worded preview by saying that the ending of the issue will be a world-changing ending that no one will believe. Now, a lot of people have been questioning over the past few months, or the past year or so, since late last year going into this year. People have been questioning whether this Genesis storyline is going to be a reboot, or what exactly is going to happen. Well, I have recently read on ArchieComics.com, where they do these little data files now there, due to the celebrating the Chinese New Year, and I guess in honor of the Chinese New Year, and this Chinese New Year being the Year of the Rabbit. One of the characters they have, of course, they talk about is Bunny Rabbit, and they've already said, and if you read this data file on her, you basically get an indication that nothing's going to happen to her. So that also tells you that nothing's going to happen to any of the characters you see on this cover. But the question is, how long will this last? Well, from what many people like myself have found out, ladies and gentlemen, it will basically go through the summer. So basically meaning it will be shipped out on the 18th of May, and from the 18th of May up to June 7th of this year, subscribers like myself will get it in the mail. Now, on June 1st, it hits comic shops. On June 7th, it basically hits everywhere else, like newsstands and everything. So the question is, how long, month-wise, will it last? Well, if Ian Flynn has come out and said it's only going to be for the summer, you're taking a look at maybe May, June, July, and perhaps August. Or perhaps August, that is. If not May, then you're looking at June, July, and August. So that's how long, according to what I have read online among many other fans, that this issue will last. Now, how does the Silver storyline, the Silver Saga, tie into this? Well, apparently there's going to be some reason. Basically there's some reason that's going to tie in, from what I understand. Because we do find out that the villain for the Silver Saga is indeed Urajak. Now, many people have already speculated that it could be Knuckles, once again as Urajak, but this time more powerful than he's ever been. Now, Urajak, of course, has a new design, and according to Chaos Control 14, who did a summary on the issue, basically Urajak now has a new power. It's a power we've never seen before, and it's a power that seems to make the Sonic Universe comic, and perhaps is an indication of where even the main comic may go, make it a little bit more darker than usual. Now, I'm not saying that the comic has never been dark throughout its history, or throughout its time in the past 18 years. I'm not saying it hasn't been dark. There have been many times throughout the past 18 years that it has been dark. There have been some dark issues, some periods throughout the comics history where a lot of issues have been more dramatic and dark than most of the other ones. But this one is probably one of the darkest that current writer Ian Flynn has ever done for any Sonic comic book, main or related, ever. Because like I say, he's given Urajak in the storyline, he's basically, Ian Flynn has wrote in a new power for Urajak. And this new power for Urajak, and I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, but this new power for Urajak is that he can extract souls from his victims. That's right, he can extract souls. And basically what happens is the soul that he extracts at the end of this issue is Constable Remington. You remember Remington from the Knuckles stories. Well, his soul is the one he extracts at the end of this issue. And basically what happens is when he extracts a soul, that body becomes a motionless husk. In other words, it's still alive. The body is still alive, but the soul is not there. Think of it this way. Remember Scooby-Doo back in 2002 when that movie came out? How the characters like Fred and Velma and Daphne all lost their souls to this, not this pool, but, well, basically it was like a pool, and in the place, these demons took over. Well, it's not exactly like that, but before the demons took over, when the souls got extracted from the bodies, before the demons took over, the bodies just went limp. In other words, they just became empty. Nothing. They became like, if you wanted to, a living skin. Into which, if you wanted to put something else in there, another spirit or something like that, you could put it inside there, and it'd be like they were wearing a living skin. Basically, the skin would be like a costume, if you will. So, now I'm not saying that's exactly what happens here, but there are some clues that some fans have pointed out, even though some may not have the issue yet. And those clues are like this. There are metallic versions, and I'm sorry if I paused there for a second, I was thinking for a second, but there are metallic versions of the Chaotix in this storyline, in this first issue of the Silver Saga. Now they're not like the robot. Now here's the thing. They're not roboticized versions. They're just metallic. In other words, they're like robotic. And a lot of people wonder if maybe what Urajak does is extract the souls from his victims and put the souls into these metallic versions of them that serve him. That is a question a lot of people are wondering about. Could that be what extracting the souls are about? Now, let's talk about this new power that Ian has given Urajak, because at the end of the issue, the last panel we see at the end of the Silver Saga is, and I saw this through an image provided by Chaos Control 14, and you could see this on the video footage, on the video version. But Chaos Control 14 basically showed the last panel, the last page of the first issue of issue 25, which is the beginning of the Silver Saga. And in the background, on this wall behind Urajak, are all the main characters that you know, like Sonic, Sally, Tails, Linda, Predator Hawk, Amy Rose, from what he said, Shadow, Dr. Fantivius, Snively, Eggman, aka Robotnik, Bill Platypus. They're all hanging there along now with Constable Remington as empty husk. In other words, the bodies have no souls. You can see their eyes are completely blank. The mouths are wide open, like, kind of like that. But there's nothing there. So the question is, does he use these souls, like I say, for these to power these new metallic versions of